Hello, criminal justice enthusiasts, and welcome to the new game I've been hinting at for a couple weeks now. Now, I am on vacation this week, but I wanted to give you a little treat while I was away, so I have gone ahead and gotten another game that I thought you guys would like. You Are the Judge. With this game, it's, as far as I understand, very much like JudgeSim, which many of you seem to enjoy on the channel. We will be playing as a judge and making decisions in a multitude of different cases based on what we hear. Now, from what I've seen, brief snapshots of this game and such, this game does look more realistic than the JudgeSim game. That one's more in a cartoon style. This one, I think, has more of a realistic graphic set to it. I do not know what the cases are going to be about. I don't know if it's going to be sort of a political type of situation like JudgeSim, but I guess we will find out together. So with that, let me grab my gavel and let's jump into the game. Alright, so we only have one spot here. We have to be announced things here. I wonder if they're going to have additional DLC coming out and such that's just not out yet. So we have this, it's a court. Then it looks like we have some woman with a sword here and a guy with a machine gun here. I am intrigued. Maybe that's something that I have to play through the first game to get to? I don't know. Right is right, even if everyone is against it. And wrong is wrong, even if everyone is for it. William Penn. In your youth years, there would be quite a lot of protests against the government in your country, and this case. You used to participate in protests. You wouldn't care about the protests. You used to find the protesters unjust. Alright, so I guess I'm sort of playing as myself here, so I get to make a decision here on what I feel. I'm definitely not the protesting type myself, so it's one that I either don't care about the protest or I used to find the protesters unjust. I don't know what the particular situation is, so I don't know if they're unjust or not. I mean, currently in our country, there are protests going on, and they oftentimes do sort of annoy me, I will say, because I feel like they're sort of impeding other people's rights. I get the reason for protest, but when you're doing things that are detracting from other people's lives, I don't think that's right. So I'm going to actually go with you find the protesters unjust. Oh, so we're sort of creating our character in this way. You have to choose a university, and you made your choice. Alright, so of these three things, definitely don't want politics. The law is interesting, and I do like economics. But I'm going to go with the law in this case, because I do find that more interesting. I mean, we're playing a game about the law, so let's go with the law. You like a girl named Mary in law school. Now it's time to share your feelings with her. Alright, we're just sharing our feelings? I probably wouldn't say I loved her right away. But, yeah. Definitely I'm not going with the last one. I would be a bit hesitant, but you know what? Let's go full in. We're going to be romantic. Tell her we loved her. After college, you married Mary. Nice! So it worked out alright that I told her I loved her. As a result of your happy marriage with Mary, you have 2 sons. Mary told you you would be a great father. Well, that's very nice of her. After graduating from law school, you started working as a lawyer. You chose the field you specialize in. Alright, personally, of the 3, I would be interested in criminal law. That's the one that intrigues me the most. Although you had difficulty finding free time, you were happy to spend Sundays with your family. You would visit with your spouse and children every Sunday. Yeah, I'm not the religious type, so we're not going to go to church. Both of these would be things I would enjoy doing. I love watching movies. I'd love to go to movies with my family and stuff. Do that with my wife already now. And depending on the museum, museums can be a lot of fun as well. Since we're talking an every Sunday type of thing, I'm going to go with cinema. Museums are more on a vacation type thing. I love to go experience new museums and stuff like that. So we'll go with cinema here. After practicing law for a long time, one of your best friends, Henry, encouraged you to take the judge's exam. After you brought this subject up to your wife, Mary, you saw her as a little worried. Wording's a little bit odd, but that's alright. When you ask Mary about the reason for her anxiety, she says, "Is this something you want? Are you sure you won't neglect the children and me?" Ask the question, and you too. Okay. Alright. I do care about a career and stuff. I care about what I'm doing here on YouTube. I care about my writing and such. But I'm sorry. I am definitely one of those people that family comes first. If I had to give all of this up, I would do so in a heartbeat for my wife and definitely for future kids. So it's going to be between these two. That this will never be a problem for her and our children. I would say that's going to be the case. But I think this is actually the answer I would probably go with. Because really being a judge, I think, I could be wrong because I'm not that familiar with the whole situation, but I think you actually make more money as a judge than you do as a lawyer and such. And I feel like the hours would be a bit better because you're just doing the stuff in the courtroom more, unlike having to prepare for cases. I mean, I'm not saying a judge does not prepare for a case. I get that they do. But I don't feel like it's to the extent that the lawyers have to. And so because of that, I feel like this would give me more time with my family and give me more money. So we're going to go with that one. Mary said that although she didn't fully address her concerns, she would support and always be there for you. Yeah, as I said, a little bit of wording issues here, but that's okay. I get what they're saying. And a long-awaited day came. Henry, your wife Mary, and the children were waiting for the results to be announced. While waiting for the results, yeah, I'm going to be nervous in that kind of a situation. Definitely am nervous. I'm going to be hopeful. Definitely not hopeless. I'm going to be excited, but biggest thing is nervous, because I do definitely doubt myself at times, and I would be nervous about it. Henry comes to you and says, "I believe you have succeeded. From now on, a whole new life begins for you," he whispered. With the announcement of the results, you learned that your career as a judge has begun. Everyone in the house was in great joy. Mary looked a little thoughtful, but she couldn't help but rejoice. I have this concern that this game's not going to end well for my wife and I'm really sad about that. Because unlike the last one where my family didn't even move, other than the cat that I could pet, my wife actually has some character already, and I care about her. While you were excited about your first day on duty, you heard the horn of your driver coming from outside to take you to the office. Again, I don't think the while is necessary there. Little wording issues. After kissing Mary, you took your bag and set off for the office. Because really, the while makes it sound like this is a bad thing. Where really, you're just getting your ride to your office, which is a great thing. Kissed your wife goodbye and you head to the office. Alright, so we're in 2023 now, so it was last year when this game came out, I think. Alright, so I get to pick how I look. I'm not one for facial hair, so that's going to be ruled out. I'm not African American, so that one's going to be ruled out. And each one has bonuses, evidently. More money plus government relation, less Supreme Court relation, less punishment, society relation, government relation, Supreme Court. Yeah, I don't want everybody hating me. I don't really care about the money. You know, even though I said I didn't want facial hair, I sort of like that the society and the government like me, even if the Supreme Court doesn't. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one. I like the fact that society and the government like me. Sad that the Supreme Court doesn't. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Not exactly sure what that means. Alright, so Season 1. There are Okay, so there's 2 seasons right now evidently available. Interesting. Good to know. I'm assuming season 2 is available in the normal game and I don't have to pay extra for it, but I have no idea. I really don't. Um, but here we are. Kobardi Border Command v. Bowden Bell. Human trafficking case. Alright, interesting. I believe Kobardi is the fictional country that we work in. So, let's see what we got here. Accepting bribes can put you in a difficult situation. Make choices regarding your character's past. Sweet. Alright, phone's ringing. I guess we should start with that. Chief Justice. Hello, Richard. How are you? I guess my name is Richard here. I didn't get a choice on that. Sort of sad. I wish I had gotten a choice because I would have put my name in there. Thank you, Minister. I hope you are well too. That's not a proper response to what he said. Little language issues, as I said. Well, and I mean, we are in a foreign country, so maybe this is a proper language there. I'm just being the one that's sort of wrong. Due to the recent appointments, you'll be starting your first day on the job. Do you feel prepared? Yes, Minister. I'm glad to hear that, Richard. I have a question on my mind. What is it? You're aware of the country's situation. Do you think you can handle this role? I have been working in the field of law for a long time. It won't be difficult for me. Your appointment of me is the biggest proof of that. If you don't believe in me, then appointing me to this position was not the right decision. That's a fair point. Okay, can't do anything, it seems here. Oh, alright, I have to... Whoops. That wasn't the choice I would have made. I thought he was actually saying all three of them. I'm glad I didn't accidentally click on this one. It would have been between these two. Been working in the field of law for a long time. It won't be difficult for me. Appointment in me is biggest proof of that. Personally, I like the first one anyway, so I'm actually okay with the thing I clicked on. I was just thinking it was a continued conversation, so I was just clicking to see what the next line was. Glad that I clicked on that one. Thank you for your response, Richard. I wish you success on in your duties. Yeah, to me this one comes off as a little bit arrogant, and I don't want to be arrogant to my boss right away. This one just sounds confrontational, and yeah, definitely not going to be confrontational first day on the job. Alright, so inspect the folder. Guessing this is the folder? Alright, important notice. Dear Judge, our greatest expectation as you participate in upcoming cases is that you make accurate decisions in accordance with our Constitution. If either the plaintiff or the defendant believes you have made an incorrect decision, they can approach us and we will conduct a detailed review. If we determine that your decision was incorrect, you will face a penalty. The day after cases in which you made incorrect decisions, you can find out why we believe you made a wrong decision by using the file here. Cases in which you make incorrect decisions will be reviewed by another judge. We have full confidence in your ability to make correct decisions, but we deemed it appropriate to provide this information. Best of luck in your duties, Supreme Court. Yeah, so, and since I don't have a good reputation, or I'm not liked by them, that could go badly for me. Did you also notice there was slight fog coming through the window here? My office is not exactly that secure, is it? Alright, click on the flag. Kobardi, I think I'm saying that right, is certainly not a normal country. Its history, in particular, it is quite dark. There have been numerous coups in the country's past, and military juntas have ruled the nation. The people have almost become accustomed to these military coups, and it's now considered a normal situation for them. But it's time for things to change. The country deserves a democratic government. Elections have been held for this purpose, and now there's a civilian constitution in place. The country is governed by the government that emerged from these elections. This new government has its share of concerns, especially considering the significant power the military has had in the country's history. One could say that Kobardi is now looking to the future with hope. After all, there is now a democratic administration in the country. This change has also affected the judiciary. Courts that were once under military control are now conducting trials in accordance with the civilian constitution. However, this situation doesn't please everyone in the country, as there is still a significant portion of the population that prefers military rule. Well, that's where I'm sort of happy that both the government and the people like me. While the people are divided on many issues, their fundamental goal is the unity and integrity of their country. Therefore, when it comes to their country, they can compromise on many of their beliefs. This highlights the extent to which they are a nationalistic society. Although there hasn't been a major external threat so far, there are separatist groups from different ethnic backgrounds within the country. These separatist groups have been one of the country's biggest problems throughout its history. While many people share the common belief that Korbadi's future will be bright, it's safe to say that Korbadi holds its destiny in its own hands. Each citizen will undoubtedly play a role in the country's future. Moreover, the famous slogan coined by the people after every military coup, "The sole owner of victory is Kobardi," is still fresh in everyone's minds. Alright, so we've just become a democratic country. I'm going to be one of the examples of justice in this country, which is a little bit of a burden there. Alright, so we've got the law book. Article 134. An individual or organization commits the crime of human trafficking by transporting people across borders through illegal means or by turning a blind eye to such transportation. Perpetrators of human trafficking are punished according to national and international regulations. The court may sentence the defendant to imprisonment ranging from 3 to 8 years. Alternatively, the court may impose a fine of up to $300,000. The discretion to lower or increase this amount based on the defendant's behavior in court is at the discretion of the court. Alright, so these are all basically our different rules here. I do have to say, it looks more official here. As I said, the detail level, this is a more realistic game. I will say I sort of liked the other one as far as the law book, though, because it was easier to find what I needed very quickly. Examine the phone. Okay, so the phone... Text speed preview. I broke into the house to steal, then John noticed me and we showed. I never had a chance. Alright, that's interesting. I do want to slow that down a little bit. There we go. Alright, examine the computer. Hello, you need to complete a few steps to set up your system. If you're ready, let's continue. Alright. Evidently, my name is Richard Anderson. Alright, Mr. Anderson. Well, I'm definitely going to go with my picture there then. I am Richard Anderson. Perfect. Then I'll put my name as the password. Actually, you know what? I don't want to use a password. Is that going to be a problem? You know, I'm a judge, though. I should use a password. Yeah, we'll go ahead and use that as my password. Oh, so I can't use that as my password. Alright, then. Let's try raise. And see if that'll work. Okay, it's not working. That is 4 characters. But you know what? Don't want a password. That's fine. We're not going to do a password. That was a bit odd because it wouldn't let me type more than the 4. So, very interesting there. Alright, so we've got a browser. Can we just type things here? Card shop simulator. Alrighty then. I do find it very cool that I can actually just type in there, though. That is a very neat touch. I like it. Alright, so we've got mail. Let me go ahead and look at other things first. Although there are opposing views in the government, their overall attitude towards me is positive, 70%. There are only 1 or 2 people left in the board with whom I can't agree. It looks like there's no issue, 80%. The people who love me among the public is greater. I think this will sustain me for a while, 65%. My spouse gets angry with me occasionally. Well, I mean, that happens. If you live with somebody long enough, you're going to have some arguments. But for now, our relationship is manageable. That is not the way I would list it, but fine, 80%. So here's sort of, we get a measure of where we are as far as people, which is good. Social media here. Good morning, Kabardi. Today we continue to stay energetic and positive as always. What beautiful moments should we share today? Alright, that's a pretty picture of landscape. Culture is always important in Kabardi. We invite you to come together to support local artists and cultural events. What are your thoughts on health today? Supreme Court has made judge appointments. There is a young name that stands out among the appointees. Gonna like that. Wish all the judges who are starting their duties success. Definitely gonna like that. Strong leader, strong Kabardi. I'll like that as well. I'm live at 2000 there. Appointments, it's political. Yeah, I don't agree with that one. We're working day and night to ensure justice. Our top priority is justice for everyone. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that one. Appointment of someone so young to this position has definitely been based on merit. In fact, the world is flat. I was about to heart it until that last part there. So here's me, Judge Richard Anderson. Kabardi Country does a fantastic job ensuring justice. Thank you. Criticized for his weak leadership in delivering justice, country deserves a better legal system. She's the same one that believed in flat earth too, wasn't she? He's known for his dedication to justice and a great asset to the community. Thank you. Is it difficult to be a judge? Let's reply to him. You have to work at staying impartial and having a continual respect for the law. See if it allows me to actually publish it. That is cool. I like that. I like that I can put in messages there. That's awesome. I can't look at these other things that are going on, but that's fine. Including corruption, that would sort of be a good one to look at. Alright, I'm happy with that. Want that to be my first message. Sweet. I like it. A lot of detail there as well. Alright, we can close this out. To file a lawsuit against a social media post, copy the ID relevant to the post and paste it using the... Alright, so I could file a lawsuit. Sort of seems like a trite thing to do. Alright, so we still have our mail left here. Let's look into this. Gonna start at the bottom because this looks like the case that we're gonna have. Hello, sir. I'm your assistant, Robin Harris. Firstly, I'd like to wish you success in your new role. My role is to provide you with the necessary information before cases and to conduct detailed analysis by researching the following day about the decisions you made in the cases. If in this analysis I strive to find out what institutions, the press, or social media think about the decisions you made. If you ever have any needs, I will always be here for you. Best regards. Well, she seems very nice and helpful. Dear Judge, we are pleased to welcome you to your new duty. The decisions you will make hold great importance to our country's legal system. Therefore, we have no doubt that you will make decisions in accordance with our Constitution. Do my best. I have prepared the documents for your upcoming case and left them on the table in your courtroom for you. Additionally, the attorneys are waiting for you in the courtroom for the pre-trial hearing. Wow, so this is going to be a multi-step process here in the trial. Very interesting. Alright, so we've done all that stuff. I had seen pre-trial here, so I guess I click on this to go to the pre-trial? She wanted to go to the pre-trial hearing. She said it was, let me just check that again real fast. I want to make sure. Don't want to screw something up on my first day. Documents for your upcoming case and left them on the table in the courtroom. Alright, so they are not in my office here. It seems like they're going to be in the courtroom. Yeah, because I can't click on these, can't click on that. I got my law book here. So it's a human trafficking case. So we need the first part here. An individual or organization commits the crime of human trafficking by transporting people across borders through illegal means or by turning a blind eye to such transportation. I'll worry about the punishment afterwards, but that's the whole thing. So transporting people across borders through illegal means or by turning in a blind eye to such transportation. Alright, think I'm ready. Let's go ahead and do our first case. Actually more nervous this time because it seems more serious than the other game. Yes, we're going to go ahead out here. Okay, we got real people here. I don't see paperwork for this trial. Really my only two options are to talk to the two people here. So let me go ahead. Generally, we usually start, clicked off the screen there real fast, my apologies. Generally, we usually start in the United States by having the plaintiff start. And then the defendant gets their turn, usually the plaintiff finishes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not sure if that's the same in every country or whatnot, but I'm going to sort of follow American practices for right now. Let's talk to the plaintiff. My client, Kobardi Border Command, aims to secure our country's borders by preventing unauthorized crossings. Alright. However, it has been discovered that the defendant, who works at the border post, allows undocumented immigrants who had previously arranged with human traffickers to enter the country during his working hours. Okay, so that goes towards the law book here. You will agree that this is an extremely serious and significant matter that jeopardizes our country's security. Therefore, we request his trial and the imposition of the necessary penalties. Okay, so that's sort of their case stated. They haven't provided any evidence, but that's just what their case is. My client, Baden Bell, indeed works under the Kobardi Border Command at the border post. He is a dedicated citizen who is loyal to his homeland and understands the importance of his duties and responsibilities. There is no basis for him to engage in any activities outside his job description. We firmly deny the plaintiff's allegations and request the acquittal of my client. Okay, you can request that, but I'm going to definitely take it to trial. Alright, plaintiff's attorney and client have no objections. Alright, so here we have this. From the defendant. Your Honor, Jeffrey Clark has recently started working at the Border Command and is distant from my client's duty area. Therefore, he is not knowledgeable about the incident. We request that you reject his testimony as a witness. If you agree with the objection made by the attorney, you will check the box below. If you mark the reject button, you will not accept the objection and the witness will be heard in court. I'd rather hear the person in court. They do work there, so there might be something they know. Just because they don't work in the exact area, they may have overheard something from the person. I still get to make my decision in the end, so I want to go to the case. Oh, wow. Alright, so now we have the case file here. Please choose a card before proceeding. This one. Relationship with the government will decrease by 5 points. Well, that's not good. Why does that happen? The lawsuit begins. Alright, so I'm supposed to examine the case file. Kobardi Command v. Baden Bell. Human trafficking case number 1967. Kabardi Border Command alleges that one of its officers is involved in human trafficking along the borders. They claim that during his working hours, he illegally allows undocumented immigrants into the country and profits from it. The accused officer, Baden Bell, vehemently denies these allegations and does not admit to any connection with human traffickers. Alright, so the information. We had the plaintiff is the Border Control. We had the witness of Andrew Turner and Jeffrey Clark. And we had the defendant is Brandon Wilson. That's not Baden Bell. That's sort of interesting. We have CCTV footage that captures the illegal border crossing of immigrants. Alright. So we know about that. Let's examine the pretrial hearings record. There we go. There's that. Plaintiff's lawyer aims to secure our borders. Alright, so it's exactly what they had stated in the pretrial. That works perfect. Check the list. Checklist. Plaintiff was heard, defendant was heard, witnesses were heard, files were examined, the evidence was examined, the Constitution was examined. Alright. Examine the Constitution book. So, oh, I do like this. Alright, I was so concerned about it in my office, but they pull up the law I need for the particular case. That actually works better than the other game did. An individual or organization commits the crime of human trafficking by transporting people across borders through illegal means or by turning a blind eye to such transportation. So what I'm going to really be looking for is this second part here, that he turned a blind eye, to that transportation. I also want to see some evidence that he did so, like getting paid and such. Examine the left menu. Alright, so I can talk to the people, can look at the files, can look at the checklist. Oh, I can take notes. That's nice. Alright. We got the law. I can make my decision. What's the history? No history right now, so that's fine. Alright, so we've examined all that. So now, according to the checklist, we should have the plaintiff be heard. So let's go ahead and have the plaintiff heard. Okay, so I can ask questions here. So it's Mark Harris, age 32, no criminal record. That's the lawyer. You're accusing the duty officer of misconduct. Do you have any evidence to support this claim? What is the content of the camera footage submitted to our court? What penalties does your institution request within the framework of human trafficking? I don't know if I can do all of these or not. I definitely want to see the evidence. I mean, we've got a video, that's for sure, and I do want to ask about that, but I want to hear if he's got other evidence. Your Honor, upon reviewing our institution's records, it was determined that the defendant was not present in the security booth where he was supposed to be during working hours. Ooh, that's sort of a negative on him. That is definitely a negative. Additionally, we have submitted the relevant security camera footage to the court. Alright. Oh, I can ask more questions. Good. So let's go to the next question. The security camera footage we submitted to the court belongs to the security booth located at the border, where the defendant was on duty. Okay, so we should see him on the footage then. That's good. As you will see in the footage, a group of 3 illegal migrants is passing under the fences beside the booth. That's very different than we have in this country. I mean, I live very close to the border here. We do have illegal immigrants coming into the country often. Much as it wants to be denied at points in time, it is an issue in the area I live. But they don't do it right next to a guard booth by any means. They will do it in the middle of the desert where no one can see them. It also leads to some of the problems because of the fact that no one knows they're there. So if they get into trouble, it's real trouble for them. Upon closer inspection of the footage, the defendant's duty weapon, which is registered in our command's inventory, is seen leaning against the fence on the ground. But he's not seen in the footage. Is that the thing? What penalties does your institution request within the framework? Your Honor, the fact that the defendant is not seen in the camera footage does not mean that he did not commit the crime. The defendant is well aware of camera's location. His absence during the commission of the crime is no coincidence. Migration is a fundamental right. You cannot prevent it. Okay. Yeah, so the people are getting upset about it. I'm hoping silence means that I silence them. Maybe I bang my gavel and such. Perfect. Order in the court. All right, perfect. That's what I wanted to do. That's the way I wanted to handle it. I did not want to throw them out. I want people to be able to see if I can handle it. If they had continued, then I would have had the bailiffs throw them out. Fenn is under sense. All right. The presence of his duty weapon right next to the area where the migrants crossed, his absence from his post during his shift, and the illegal crossing into our country as a result represent a significant security breach. I definitely want to hear from him. I'm very curious to hear what he has to say about it because I definitely am concerned. But if he has something to say like that he went and took a leak and he had just left his weapon sitting against the fence, well, that might be a security issue. That's not a crime of human trafficking. We request the maximum penalty according to Article 134, Paragraph 3 of our Constitution. Okay, so they want the max penalty. Alright, so we're going to end the listening. I hope that will end the listening with him. And conversation is being ended. Now, could I call him back up if I want? No, I could not. So that is a good thing to know. I cannot call him back up. This trial is probably taking longer than other ones will because I'm learning all the mechanics as well as we go here. Alright, so I want the defendant to talk next, I believe. Yeah, the defendant, then the witnesses. Can I look at this? Oh, I can. Okay, I'm assuming this is his rifle up here. Yeah, I don't see anybody else in the footage. I see his rifle, but I don't see him. I definitely am curious to see what he has to say. Alright. What is your duty at the border post? Your Honor, I am on guard duty at security booth at the border post. My duty is to prevent illegal crossings at the border and to thwart any threats. Well, you did sort of fail in your job. The video definitely shows you're not that good at your job. I'm just saying. I have never acted outside of my duty description. This accusation is completely slanderous. Yeah, well, where were you? That is one thing I want to know. Yeah, I am curious about that answer there. Alright, why do you think your institution is accusing you falsely? Being charged in such a case is evidence of slander itself. I have never made any mistake in my duty other than those imposed by the limitations of being human. On the contrary, I have been insulted by my superiors multiple times. Well, that's interesting. Nevertheless, I kept these to myself, considering the sanctity of my duty. But I see that the institution I work for does not share the same sentiment. Alright. Your Honor, I acknowledge that the camera footage belongs to the security booth at the border post, where I was on duty. I am not very knowledgeable about technology, but I know that these images have been tampered with. Please believe in my innocence. Ooh, alright, so the images have been tampered with. Take a look at the video again. Huh. I wanted to go back to 0 again. Notice how the person appears. It's almost like they phase in. That's not the way the video would start normally. Let me leave and come back to it because I want to see if that person phases in like that. He does. I'm very concerned about that video footage now. I want to see something else also. Is it the pre-trial? Okay, so this is sort of neat. I do like that. Okay, so we still have the two witnesses to talk to. I wanted to see what he said at the beginning again of what he had said. Hopefully I'll be able to see that somewhere. Can't see it there. And I have no notes written. There was something he said that I also wasn't sure. I want to say that he said somewhere about 3 people, and we only see 2. Alright, so we've got this person. Let's see here, pre-trial. I also don't remember which of the 2 people was the one that I allowed to speak here. Let's see. Let's just go with this one. Can you confirm you were on duty at the border post with the defendant? Well, yes, sir. Please excuse my nervousness. This is my first time appearing in court, and it's a completely different experience than watching it on television. Okay. Stay calm and just answer the questions. Did you witness any suspicious behavior? Bodden is someone with strong social skills. He often interacts with people living near the border, outside of working hours. Sometimes, I join these conversations. That doesn't answer the question. However, the topic of human trafficking never came up in these conversations. That does actually matter, at least not in the ones I participated in. Yes. Do you have anything to say about the defendant's behavior at the border post? The environment at the border post is quite unique. After all, hundreds of men are spending time in the same place. Bodden communicated with us in a very normal way. Perhaps he wasn't very cheerful lately, but who among us isn't going through tough times? Alright, so he has nothing really to add. Other than he didn't hear anything about human trafficking. Is it true that you were stationed at the security booth closest to the defendants at the time of the incident? Yes, but I am new to the job. Alright, so this is a new guy. So I'm not very familiar with how things work at the border post or the border area. I might have been the closest, but still, the distance was not very close. Okay. How far is your post from the defendants, and was it within line of sight, I'm guessing? I would estimate about 250 meters. As I mentioned before, I am new to the border area. Also, during the night, my visibility is, as you can imagine, more limited. I need to do a conversion here because I am not that competent with using meters. I fully admit it. Alright, so 250 meters is going to be about 0.155 miles. How many feet? 820 feet. That is a distance, especially at night. Did you notice anything unusual at the defendant's security booth? At one point I saw some shadows on the other side of the border. We occasionally see wild animals, but these looked more like people than animals. However, since it was nighttime, my visibility was not very good. Alright, so they didn't have anything of value to add to the conversation. Alright, we've gone through everything. I am going to have to take better notes in the next trial because I do feel like I missed something. I think he said something to the effect of... I wish I could see it again. I want to say he said something to the effect of 3 people. And my thing is, even if I say this isn't being tampered with, for one, they're walking straight through the fence, which, I mean, I originally put that down to just the game having some medium quality graphics, or lower end maybe on the video. But with it being sort of a realistic type of game, that could be tampered with footage. And on top of that, you don't see him anywhere in the footage. An individual or organization commits the crime of human trafficking by transporting people across borders through illegal means or by turning a blind eye to such transportation. I do wish I got to ask more questions of him. Like, for one, where was he? Or was he there and he's saying this didn't even happen? I think I'm ready for my decision. Okay, so I don't have any of that stuff here. The defendant is not seen in any of the CCTV footage, and his location at the time has not been established or proven by the plaintiff. Because of that, it is impossible to determine if he knowingly turned a blind eye to the crime of human trafficking. Even if your decision is correct, some people may not like it. Yeah. Okay, so I got $500. I got my salary is $150, so I'm not making as much. I had 500 in savings. I'm actually losing money for here, unless they're saying that they put the money in savings, because otherwise, yeah, I just lost money for the day overall. But all right. Why is there a $100 penalty? Did I get the decision wrong? Is that what they're saying? Spouse mentioned that you no longer have any time for your family and that this situation is negatively affecting your kids. What's your thoughts on it? I'm going to go with that she's right. I will solve this issue. All right, we're not going to jump into the next case yet. I did get a penalty there, so I wonder if I got that case wrong. Personally, I didn't see the evidence to convict him. Yes, you see his gun there, but I don't trust it enough to say that he was guilty. I might play through the game again a second time. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes. I'm very curious overall, but yeah, I'm not willing to really say that he was guilty there. So we're gonna have the next case is gonna be Cobardi versus Lucien Foster. It's gonna be a murder case. For now, though, this is gonna end the first episode of You Are the Judge. Hopefully you enjoyed it, even though I might have gotten the thing wrong. I guess we'll see in the next video what they have to say. They'll hopefully tell me why, if I got it wrong, they feel that I got it wrong. And we'll go on from there. For now, though, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click that like button. And if you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so that you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you all back for more of You Are the Judge.